The bell rings. Desks in rows. Eyes forward. You raise your hand to speak. You wait to be chosen. You walk in straight lines, take orders, and learn when to sit, when to stand, when to move. And you never question why. From your first day, you're trained to believe that obedience is good, silence is respect, and approval is success. They call it education. But what if it's something else? What if school was never designed to create free thinkers, but compliant citizens? The modern school system didn't begin as a temple of knowledge. It began as a factory. In the 19th century, when industrial empires needed punctual, disciplined workers, a new model of schooling emerged, one built to serve the machine. The bell was a replica of the factory whistle. The rows of desks mirrored production lines, and lessons were less about curiosity and more about control. They didn't need visionaries. They needed laborers who could follow instructions, respect hierarchy, and never ask too many questions. But industry alone didn't shape it. In the early 1900s, wealthy philanthropists like John D. Rockefeller began funding education reform across America. His General Education Board poured millions into standardized curricula and teacher training, designed, as their own report said, to produce industrial efficiency and social harmony. Rockefeller himself was quoted as saying, "I don't want a nation of thinkers, I want a nation of workers." Whether he meant it literally or not, the sentiment captured the era's goal, shaping minds to fit the machinery of society. It wasn't about malice. It was about management. But management on a national scale is still control, just dressed in good intentions. Pause for a moment and think back to your own school days. What's the first memory that comes to mind? Learning something meaningful or being punished for breaking a rule? Tell us below. How early did your conditioning started? Psychologists call it operant conditioning. Reward compliance. Punish defiance. From the moment you step into class, you're trained through repetition and consequence. Good behavior earns a sticker, a smile, a gold star. Bad behavior earns isolation, shame, or a mark that follows you for years. It's Pavlov's dog in uniform. The system doesn't need to threaten, because it teaches you to fear failure. Every test, every grade, every disappointed look slowly reshapes your self-image, until one day you're not learning for knowledge. You're learning for approval. Humans crave belonging, and schools weaponize that instinct early. Uniforms create the illusion of equality while quietly erasing individuality. Groupthink becomes survival. No one wants to be the outcast. So when everyone laughs at the wrong answer, you learn to stay quiet. When everyone agrees, you nod, even if your gut says they're wrong. Speak out too much, and you're branded disruptive. Stay silent, and you're well-behaved. And in that tiny distinction, another free mind disappears. Because school doesn't just teach you facts. It teaches you the social cost of being different. Teachers aren't villains. They're products of the same conditioning. Their performance is measured by test results, not by the curiosity they ignite. So they follow the rules. They teach the test. And they grade conformity disguised as achievement. We call it a meritocracy. But if merit means obedience to a system designed for obedience, is it really merit, or just mastery of compliance? Every school teaches two curriculums. The official one, maths, science, language. And the hidden one, sit still. Wait your turn. Don't challenge authority. That's the real education. But think about what they don't teach. Why don't we learn about money management, negotiation, or how debt really works? Why not basic survival, car maintenance, cooking, first aid, emotional intelligence? Instead, we memorize dates, recite formulas, and compete for grades that rarely translate to real life. Maybe that's the point. A system built to create dependency has no interest in teaching independence. When a child learns that survival depends on obedience, curiosity becomes dangerous. By adulthood, most people have been rewarded so long for conformity, they confuse it with virtue. They stop questioning orders. They stop questioning power. And eventually, they stop questioning themselves. Years later, those lessons don't fade. They shape anxious adults terrified of failure. Perfectionists addicted to validation. Workers who clock in, do as told, and never push too far. That's not a coincidence. That's conditioning. When your sense of worth is measured by grades, deadlines, and approval, you learn to live for permission. Not passion, not truth. The obedient become the enforcers. The once silent students become teachers, supervisors, managers, and they replicate what they were taught because it feels normal. Questioning authority now feels wrong, uncomfortable, unsafe. And that's how control sustains itself. Not through violence, but through the quiet comfort of routine. But cracks always form. The rebels, the dreamers, the ones who couldn't sit still, they see the illusion. They feel the manipulation, even if they can't name it yet. They're told they'll never succeed, but maybe that's the point. Maybe success, as defined by the system, isn't worth chasing. Because if you have to surrender your individuality to achieve it, then you didn't succeed. You surrendered. The first step to breaking manipulation is awareness. To notice the pattern before it finishes its work. But awareness isn't enough. You have to start questioning your own reflex to obey, that split second before you follow a rule without asking why. That pause, that's freedom's first breath. Every skill they forgot to teach you, money, maintenance, survival, learn them yourself. Because the more capable you become, the less control they have. Dependence is obedience by another name. Don't reject authority completely, just choose who you grant it to. Real authority invites questions. False authority punishes them. Learn to tell the difference. And if you've lost your curiosity, go looking for it. It's the one thing they couldn't quite kill, the spark that makes you wonder, what else have I accepted without proof? And here's the part they never warned you about. You're not supposed to wake up alone. Awareness spreads faster when it's shared. Talk about it. Ask others what they remember being taught to believe. Because one skeptic is an inconvenience. A generation of them is a revolution. Every bell, every grade, every uniform, they were never just symbols of learning. They were instruments of conditioning. And generation by generation, that conditioning became culture. Until one day, the most powerful form of control became invisible because it looked like education. This was deceive and believe, because manipulation never sleeps.